Alright, what's going on? I'm back for another replay cast from Total War Warhammer 3. Playing as Kislev again. This will probably be the last Kislev match that I'll post for now. I'm going to switch on and start learning another faction after this. But for this matchup, we're going to be on Silver Spire facing our opponent who is playing as the Empire. And so you'll notice that I brought Kostaltyn with spears this time. I wanted to have some troops that were ready to deal with cavalry moving around. Some of my game's having a little trouble loading this up. But I wanted some Kostaltyns with the spears to deal with cavalry, and armored Kostaltyns to deal with their firing up front and kind of hold the front lines. I've got Kostaltyn. I think I kept calling him Kostaltyn on another replay. So Kostaltyn and a group of Ice Guard with swords, Snow Leopard, and Warbear Riders for dealing with their large troops. And then let's check out what my opponent's got. So he has Karl, Franz on the Hippogriff, and a Jade Wizard on a horse, mounted on a horse, Warrior Priest on foot, the Sunmaker, which is a Hellstorm rocket battery, Regiments of Renown. What else has he got? Sigmar Sons, Spearmen with shields, 2 squads of Spearmen with shields, and 4 squads of Standard Swordsmen. So you can see both players moving towards the middle, just converging on point 2. Sent a group of Kostaltyns with spears over to the backside. I figured if he ended up trying to send something fast over there, it was going to be a large unit, and so I figured that was probably the best unit to send back and capture this point 1. Brought in my Frost Maiden of Ice as a reinforcement. And let's see, has my opponent brought in any reinforcements? Not yet. Saving up his supplies for now. I believe that's the only reinforcements I've brought in so far. I've got Kostaltyn sitting in the woods, Warbear Riders in the woods, Snow Leopard in the woods, trying to keep them hidden. And when I'm moving in an area like this, ideally I want to keep these troops a little more separated. Seeing that he has a Sunmaker, you can see shots coming already. You don't want to have units clumped on top of each other and giving the spread fire, you know, the explosive damage, extra value there. So they didn't get too much on the armored Kostaltyns, but the Ice Guard really got chewed up, and I probably should have kept them back in the woods instead of sending them forward where the Hellfire would have more clear shots on them. You can see I lost. I mean, that's like 500 value, over 500 value potentially already. Got a battle line set up over here. Armored Kostaltyns shooting into the swordsmen. They should deal fine with them in melee combat. My Kostaltyns with spears are getting shot in the back, or in the back line. You can see the Sunmaker is just chewing these guys up. Any of my lightly armored troops are just getting obliterated. And I've got point 1, so Kostaltyns with spears are moving up. I brought a group of Kostaltyn dervishes out on the left side. Normally I do all my summoning from the right side, but I figured I'd try to mix it up and see how I could play with that. Armored Kostaltyns holding well against the state troops, Spearmen and Sigmar Sons, so those guys are going to be a little bit tougher to deal with. Sending Kostaltyn over to the left side. Got the Ice Guard moving up the middle. Want to get them engaged in melee combat. In fact, I'm saying that, I can't remember if I get shots off with them or if I engage them in melee. Maybe they're going in there to do some shooting. Warbear Riders are kind of standing by with our Snow Leopard. There's no large targets right now. Charging in on these swordsmen with my Kostaltyn dervishes. And the Ice Guard are on the move. Let's see what spells he's throwing down, some kind of spell there. The Warrior Priest. Okay, the Warrior Priest, Shield of Faith, so damage resistance 20%. So just getting some buffs on the front line for him. I got the rear charge with the Ice Guard on these swordsmen, so that's good. Kostaltyn dervishes, I should not have left them in sustained combat like that. I should have charged in and ran back. But I got Warbear Riders on the way to support, along with the Snow Leopard. He brings his Empire Knights out. Seeing these units charged in, so I figured, okay, I might as well just get them in the mix. Try to help these dervishes out. Kostaltyn is in there just doing damage against swordsmen. I figured these Sons of Sigmar are, or Sigmar's Sons are a good target for him. Although they're just basic infantry, they are the Regiments of Renown. so he's going to get more value attacking them than just a standard group of state swordsmen. Sunmaker shooting in on my Snow Leopard and my Oath Brothers of Tor, which is my Warbear Riders. I forgot I had brought the Regiment of Renown version here. So they're going to do quite well against the Empire Knights, especially with the Snow Leopard in support. And honestly, I don't think the Sunmaker, I don't think you want to be shooting at large targets with that piece. So let's see what we've got. So Kostaltyn still sitting in the back. No reinforcements that I'm seeing coming from either side. Okay, so Snow Leopard's coming in back here. Chasing off the Empire Knights, he brought in Franz, and so I got 2 more Snow Leopards coming in. I think I had issued that attack command on the Empire Knights initially, but then realized that if he's going to be back here with no other support, I need to get on top of him, try to get him surrounded and chew him up with all the anti-large options I have over here. It's got a group of huntsmen coming over, so that's a good pick for the Empire against me here, because that's going to deal well with my Snow Leopards and with my Warbear Riders. Luckily, the huntsmen do not have armor piercing. And actually, I didn't realize that Free Company Militia don't have armor piercing either, so although they're doing a good deal of damage, my Warbear Riders are sustaining the shots pretty well, and we've got Franz getting chased off here. So one character I've not been keeping an eye on was my Frost Maiden of Ice. So I brought her on a bear. I figured I'd be able to use her to help in the frontline battle, because there might not be too many damage dealers in the infantry front coming from the Empire. And so I figured I'd get her in there, get some armor piercing damage with the bear, and have her walk around or ride around and support Kostaltyn. So still dealing with these Empire Knights on the flank. My opponent's brought in this Jade Wizard and got him in combat against the Kostaltyns with spears. The good thing about this is that this Jade Wizard is on horseback and is not heavily armored, so these guys are actually going to get decent damage off while this hero is fighting. You can see on the right side, cleared up the state's troops, and I'm pushing forward with the Ice Guard and the Armored Kostaltyns. They are quite beaten up, but they still have decent leadership and actually decent ammunition as well. Another group of Armored Kostaltyns coming up here to kind of just fill this gap here, and I can either get some shots off here and engage with these spearmen, or support over against the halberds. So Free Company Militia still doing some work fighting against my Kostaltyns with spears alongside that Jade Wizard, but my Snow Leopards and Warbear Riders have continued to fight through, taking out a lot of cavalry there, got on top of the Silver Hands, and luckily doing some good work there, getting them chased off. That's a huge buff for me. Let's see, they actually didn't get too much damage off, 700 value, but I believe they're quite a bit more expensive than that. And now I've got Kostaltyn in my what is the name of this unit? I keep forgetting this. Frost Maiden, and on top of the Free Company Militia. I keep wanting to call that hero an Ice Queen or a Frost Queen or something like that, but Snow Leopards are starting to get chased off. My Warbear Riders, I believe, are gone at this point. I'm not sure if their morale got shattered, or if they just got killed off. On the bright side, I do have a squad of Kostaltyn dervishes that I was able to sneak around this flank and get up on top of, well, actually, never mind. Those are Demigryph Knights with halberds. I believe my intention was to get them around and get them on top of either the Sunmaker or some of their shooting troops, but it looks like I got caught out there. Forgotten about that. This is a match from, I want to say, a little over a week ago. So Huntsmen, Silver Hands in the back, some swordsmen that regained their morale. Warrior Priest is dealing with my Snow Leopard, and I've got some more Armored Kostaltyns sitting in the back, just getting some shots off. Brought in some standard Warbear Riders, and they're going to deal well against these Demigryph Knights with halberds. I think that is a trade that they may win. I guess we'll kind of get an eye for it here, although there's a lot of shooting going on and whatnot. Franz got resummoned. I had chased him off earlier, and getting my Lord and my hero in on this action. So we've got a big blob of big troops, Warbear Riders, bear-mounted Lord and hero, Franz on the Griffin, and what do you call them? Demigryph Knights with halberds. So The halberd variant was a good idea for them to bring. Having that anti-large to deal with my snow leopards and my war bears is pretty good. But luckily we were able to crash that formation and get pushed through, and now we're getting on top of the huntsmen. And one thing I have not been mentioning on is they haven't been able to get any pressure on my back point, and I've been holding point 2 this whole time, so I'm winning the value trading very slightly, but I am winning the victory point battle as well. And most of his shooting has been chased off in the back line, and we are flat even on troops on the field, or number of troops on the field. So another group of Demogryph Knights with halberds charging in here. Just getting some shock damage off on my Warbear Riders and my Armored Kossars there. Another squad coming from the left side, so that's not so great. At this point, I'm sort of in a situation where I don't need to keep pushing forward like this. This looks like it was a fleeing squad that regained their leadership and you forgot about. But I really don't need to keep pushing too far back unless I feel like I can do so very safely without pushing myself into a situation where I'm just going to take unnecessary damage. Because I have the double cap and I'm ahead on points, really just holding a choke point like this and taking favorable engagements is the best thing for me to do right now. And you see me issuing some movement commands to back up, let my shooting do some value work, and take better engagements. But I am committing here on top of Karl Franz because I figured he ran into a pretty large ball of units right there. Kostaltyn's doing decent on health. He really hasn't taken too much damage throughout this match. And, you know, considering Karl Franz is about a third health and this is a resummon of him, luckily I've been able to control my general a little bit better and keep my leadership up with him. I believe that the penalty you take from a lord dying is erased once you resummon him, so I'm not sure if that's affecting his troops' leadership at this point. I wouldn't think that would make sense too. Demogryph Knights with halberds coming back in. And, oh my goodness, grenade launchers just laying the beat down on my Armored Kossars. That is really a good tech piece for them, dealing with my troops if I'm not able to get shots off on them. This is an interesting unit for me as far as picking Outriders with grenade launchers against Kislev, because Kislev has so much shooting and these guys are low armor. I feel like they can devastate a squad of Kislev troops with a volley or two of shots. But you also have to watch out for them getting shot down just by standard Kossars and really any of the infantry that have range fire, which is just about everything except Zargard, I believe. So winning the blob fight here, Karl Franz got either chased off or killed. I kind of missed that part. And as far as the Empire leadership, that's just not going to stand when I've got him pushed back so far. I dealt away with a Lord and just winning trades all around the battlefield. Pretty good matchup so far for me. Like, I think Empire is one of the factions that I have a decent understanding of what I'm doing against them, and both with Ogre Kingdoms and with Kislev, I feel pretty comfortable picking my roster against them. So we'll jump on and see the value of the different units. Kostaltyn 1,500, Warbear Riders. Actually, this is not as much as I thought these guys would have gotten. So they didn't even earn their worth, technically, but same thing. These Ice Guards with swords got obliterated by the Sunmaker. But you can see the Armored Kossars did decent. Kossars with spears actually didn't do too great. These Warbear Riders did very good. Frost Maiden with Ice got a lot of value. And I will say, these Snow Leopards also got a ton. The first one didn't comparatively, but I will say I think a lot of the value on that Frost Maiden really came from the Death Frost that I was using on their single entities. So I think I got a couple of them off on Karl Franz. I'm not sure if I got any off on the Warrior Priest or the Jade Wizard, but I remember being quite intentional about making sure I was getting Death Frost on Karl Franz and just wearing him down with that. And so for my opponent, geez, Karl Franz got a lot more value than I thought. I was under the impression that I did not allow him to get too much value, but he got a ton. Luckily for me, the Jade Wizard didn't get too much work in, neither did the Warrior Priest. Sunmaker did decent. I'm not sure what the cost is on that piece. Sigmar Sons did alright. Again, I don't know how much they cost. Most of the frontline troops got mashed up. I think a lot of these swordsmen, and I think they just call them state troops, is kind of the lingo, didn't fare too well against the Kossars. Demigryph Knights with halberds did alright. What are these? Empire Knights. This is the group that got caught out, so I'm not too surprised they didn't get a lot of value. Outriders with grenade launchers. This value is from like 1 or 2 shots. So this is a unit that has a lot of damage potential. If you get shots off on the right kind of infantry, maybe some kind of elite infantry, that's huge. Huntsmen did decent. Silver Bullets did alright. This squad of free company militia did pretty well. Halberdiers and spearmen with shields, nothing too special. So good games for my opponent. Luckily, I was able to kind of just keep the momentum from winning the battle for point 2 and push back, and not let the range fire get too much damage on my troops. Luckily, I had a decent amount of armored Kossars, and them having the silver shield and the decent armor value really helped me a lot. And yeah, anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next replay.